and welcome to a very special show. India and Pakistan are 60 years young, celebrating independence that came 60 years ago, but it came at the cost of partition. Now, as we celebrate 60 years of independence, CNN-IBN is very proud to bring you the results of the first ever joint Indo-Pak opinion poll. A poll that hopes to look at our shared past, present and future. And perhaps entirely appropriately then, we are here at the magnificent Humayun's tomb, a symbol of the shared past of these two countries. Today we'll be looking at various issues that concern India and Pakistan, and we'll take a peep into the future, looking at people-to-people contact. With me, a very special panel. Professor Yogendra Yadav of the Center for Science and Developing Societies, the country's premier political scientist. CSDS, along with AC Nielsen in Pakistan, has done this poll. A man who is one of the most charismatic politicians the subcontinent has ever seen, Lalu Prasad Yadav. To his left, Sheri Rehman, member of the Pakistan People's Party, member of the Pakistan National Assembly, and a journalist from Pakistan. Also with us, Shekhar Gupta, editor-in-chief of the Indian Express. Remember, this poll is being brought in collaboration with Dawn News and Indian Express. Shekhar Gupta, one of the country's finest minds and someone who knows India and Pakistan inside out. On my other side, Naseeruddin Shah, perhaps the finest actor that India has produced, some would say, in the last 60 years. He's just done a much acclaimed Pakistani film. And also with us, someone who's familiar to all of us, a symbol of new and progressive India, a Bollywood superstar, Amir Khan. And also joining us on this very special panel is another living legend, the former Pakistan cricket captain who won the World Cup for Pakistan, now a politician, Imran Khan. And of course, a young audience which hopefully will celebrate India's independence, not just in its 60th year, but also in its centenary. So a big hand to all of you. I just very quickly first want Yogendra to give us a sense of this poll. What is unique about this Indo-Pak poll that you've done this time?
Two things, Rajdeep. As you said, this is the first simultaneous opinion poll conducted across the border. We have done studies and surveys earlier, separated by a few months, but first time we are doing it simultaneously in both the countries. First time we've asked sensitive questions across the border. We've asked about Kashmir, we've talked about partition, we've asked about many questions which people don't want to talk about. But Rajdeep, because it is first time, we've limited its ambition. We're doing it only in the top 10 cities of Pakistan, top 10 cities of India. So remember, whenever we talk about India and Pakistan, we're talking about urban India, urban Pakistan, 1,000 plus interviews in Pakistan, 2,000 plus interviews in India.
Okay, let's then come to the first big question that we posed in this poll. And we are going to take a peep into the past at the very beginning. We asked, was partition unavoidable? And this is what the survey said. In India, 22% said no. 52% in Pakistan, on the other hand, said partition was unavoidable. 64% in India felt yes, partition was avoidable. But only 32% in Pakistan felt the same way. We then asked, do you support unification? Would you like to see India and Pakistan become one country in the future? This is what they said. 20% in India said yes. Only 9% in Pakistan said yes. 39% in India said no. 34% in Pakistan said no. On the other hand, 41% in India said, let's just be friends. 57% in Pakistan said, let's just be friends. So that's the first big result coming through our poll. Very quickly, Yogendra, what does this mean?
People on both sides live by their official ideologies, against partition, pro-partition, but the most important thing is beginning to accept the reality of two different nations. And that, I think, is a lesson I've learned over the last 20 years, that saying that we would unite is not a friendly gesture to Pakistan.
Naseeruddin Shah, are Indians romanticizing Pakistan perhaps much more? The idea of partition has been romanticized in this country. Could we be one country one day? Much more than the Pakistanis do.
Naturally, one would say yes to that, but one cannot stop regretting the artificial distinctions that arose with partition. The distinctions between Hindi and Urdu, which was a completely artificial one. The distinction between Hindus and Muslims. The creation of an awareness that you are Muslim and you are Hindu.
Because you had family on the other side, relatives who went on the other side.
I had family who went away to the other side.
So do you still deeply regret what happened?
Yes, I do.
you're still someone who regrets it?
I am someone.
I want to go to Imran Khan for a moment. Imran Khan, do you really believe that it's possible one day in the future for India and Pakistan to be one country? You'd have the best cricket team in the world for starters. You wouldn't lose out in the first round of the World Cup.
Well, Rajdeep, let me just say that no point in now talking about something that's happened. I think it's accepted by both nations. But what is most important is how do we live in the future?
Right.
Do we live as neighbors, civilized neighbors, or do we live like we have lived in the last 60 years? I think that's the big question. And I think the time has come for us to live like civilized neighbors, because you can't change your neighbors.
You can't change your neighbors. I think that's a good point that Imran Khan comes up with there. Shari Rehman, do you get a sense that Pakistan is completely now comfortable with the idea of partition? In a sense, that was the basis of Pakistan. Today, every Pakistani has no doubt that partition was the right thing to do.
I think, Rajdeep, you have to be a little sensitive about partition, because there you are challenging the genetic birth of Pakistan, number one. Number two, I agree with what Imran says, that we have to look forward. You can't be prisoners of history. You can certainly change your history, the lessons you learn from it, but you can't change your geography. You can't change your neighbors. Learn to move forward, learn to be friends. I think the most important message and the most powerful message in your poll today is that a majority, if I'm reading it correctly,
right,
inferred that they would like to see a future free of hate and violence and conflict between the two
they want
countries.
to be friends.